Welcome to the Conway Show. We've got Dan, the man is here. He is joining us for a business talk today. So welcome, Dan.
Thank you. Business chat.
Business chat. We're talking about team culture today. It's one of the big topics, I guess, of business. And I mean, through this podcast, we're going to be chatting about business, family, fitness, mental health, all these sort of things. So today, I mean, talking about business and how important team culture is and how that can impact a business in certain ways and grow a business and grow a team and an organisation that we have got right now. And I guess it hasn't come by, luck. It's come by a lot of hard work and a big vision to put a team culture together that can be bought in and shared by a team of now. I mean, we've gone from one staff and coaches to now 16 staff and coaches. So it's a dramatic difference in terms of where we've come from as a business over the six years. And it's, obviously shown in the way our business has grown, all round.
I think it's pretty mind-boggling, to be honest. Like, I think... I think I always look back on it at funny times. I think at Christmas is the last time I sort of thought about it, at the Christmas party, and I was looking around going, oh my God, like what happened in the last sort of 2 years, 3 years? It's been crazy. And as you said, it hasn't been easy. It's been a lot of work, and I think people forget how much work you put into culture, or not forget, but don't know. I think people who own businesses don't know how much time and effort we put into culture. It's obviously paid off. We've got 16 amazing staff now in a gym that runs unbelievably well. But it hasn't come for free, and it just definitely hasn't been easy. But I think what our, one of our strengths is probably me and Dill, is that we both have a very strong vision around what a gym should look like and how a gym should be in terms of family and culture and in terms of the staff. We kind of agreed on that when we first met. We just had similar views on how things run, and I think that is based on probably how we grew up and the things that we did. We were talking about it previously. Like, obviously, we're both, big sports players. We've both been in footy teams. Your rugby, my footy is different to your footy. And then, we've both been around that strong culture of, that group family culture, which creates, amazing things and amazing energies. But we've also been around toxic culture and places that you don't want to be. Which, I think that it really really helps when you're trying to build your own. It's like, it's like anything. When you've seen the good and the bad, you really want to have your own spin on it and make sure that yours is the good. And I think we put a lot of time and effort into it, making that sure that's right.
Well, when you look at, what is team culture? I searched it up before, and what is the definition of it? It's values, beliefs, behaviours and attitudes shared by a team, shared a purpose with everyone. And like when you talk about a workplace, and we won't talk about, this is a gym and this is how it should be done. This is all business. This is everyone's business. This is real estate agents. There's going to be many business owners, leaders that listen to this in terms of what makes a good team. And then in regards to that, how is that culture represented by the actions and growth of a business? And when you look at our team and the growth we've had, it's about having a really strong vision of what a business should look like and what you want it to look like. When I came to you, I remember sitting in your old gym, RBT's office, in a couch, and I was trying to convince you to come over and be our gym manager, be our first full-time staff. I gave you a vision of, this is how I want my staff in the future to come to and want to buy into, and what I want to create. And this is what we do for our staff right now, and we're not getting the buy-in back due to behaviours and attitudes. And we need to flip the switch. We need to change it, because growth can only come by having that strong values and strong team. It can't be done by one person. And you can have a really good leader, you can have a really strong person who can drive a certain standard, but if you don't have a team behind you, it's just like a sporting club. You can have a great captain, but if you've got no people behind you who are coming to the party, there's no point having a good leader, because a leader can only do so much. You can't make someone buy in. You can't make someone be a good person. You can't make someone work hard. You can't make someone come to work and enjoy it. You have to give them the opportunity, give them the environment to then let them flourish.
Yeah, I think it's like what my dad always says, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So I think that was the situation going on at the gym when I first turned up. To be honest, I was pretty shocked when I first started working for you. Obviously your vision and how you saw the new gym, or how you saw your gym working, and how you saw it's not really a gym anymore. It's a movement, it's a facility, it's an organization. What your vision was is what inspired me to be like, look, man, I've moved from New Zealand. I've given up my business and dropped a lot of what I was loving to move over here, and I was hating what I was doing here, and I was in a really toxic culture at the place I was at. And I couldn't really believe I dumped my whole life for it. I was like, this is what I've ended up in, And I know you came and saw me in that environment, and you were like, holy shit, this is bad. But I still was apprehensive to leave, which was crazy because I thought, it's given up leaving. I'm just really big on sticking things out and being loyal, but it wasn't being reciprocated. But then when I moved, as I said, to your gym and you and Nikki employed me, to manage the place and sort of just find ways of making things, run better or build the culture. I was really shocked at what was happening, it was a lot of staff getting treated really, really well, but obviously not buying into your guys' vision, which makes it, as you said, super hard to move the business forward. It's so hard because, as a business owner,
it's near impossible.
It's impossible. You're micromanaging everyone. You're making sure day to day that the things that should be thoughtless and done because it's your job, you're having to manage those things, which you didn't think you'd ever have to tell someone to do. Which obviously right now we don't do, which is like, I know it's a huge weight off your shoulders. And obviously even mine, like managing the staff here is very easy because we set that standard and they follow it. But yeah, it was just one of those things. It was a place where I know me and you got to the point which was very scary for me, and seeing you and Nikki that way to a point where you didn't want to be there. And that's your baby. So that was a bit sad, and that was a bit shitty. But we obviously got away from that.
That's the lowest point of
Correct.
Of having a business and having a team that doesn't buy in, that sort of stuff. But when you look at our organisation now, I've done a lot of reading, a lot of listening. Look at the places that are destination businesses like Google. You hear about how well the employees get looked after there, and Netflix is another one, like voted number one. And that's what I want it to be. And how do you become that? Well, you need to create that environment that people want to come to work. And it's simple things that you don't necessarily take for granted, but like the expressions and the enthusiasm of like the girls downstairs when people walk through the door and you're saying hello. The amount of people who have come to me and said, "All right, they look like they love their job." Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's the buy-in that's so simple, and that you would think is something that would be just normal, but isn't. The amount of people that go to a job, and we've spoken to a lot of people recently who, are a bit lost in terms of what they want to do in life, and people go to work. So many people would listen to this and go to work and work 9 to 5 and absolutely hate their job and not speak to anyone. And I remember when I worked at multiple gyms before this, there was no culture, there was no buy-in, there was no team. I worked in, but then I look at it's funny, I look at a container crew I worked for, unloading containers for, probably nearly 2 years when I was playing VFL at the start. And I was lost, and I was like, oh, this is a good way to make money. I had to be there at like 3 a.m, finish whenever the containers are done. And the crew, the way they introducted us into the team, the way they had like a leadership system that, if you did this for so long and you did this well, you would get up to a leadership position. And everyone actually enjoyed being there. And it's funny how unloading containers, something like that, can be such a, boring, not a great job. But then we actually had a pretty good culture, I thought. We all ate lunch together, like simple things like that. We all ate lunch together. And simple things can create the most unbelievable environment. And working in other fitness places before this, you would literally not speak to, like, you wouldn't have anything to do with any other people outside of, your two people that you worked with?
I think you got to, people who are listening who are in the fitness industry, and obviously people that don't know a lot about the fitness industry, TPC is an anomaly. Yeah, it's a place that I didn't really ever think could exist, even though I had the vision for what we've got going now. It's pretty unbelievable what we're doing. Like I know a lot of members don't really understand because they've never been in the industry, or they just come to the 5:30 class and they don't really see the rest of what goes on. But for a gym to have 16 staff that have stayed for that just are keen to be here and will stay for the next 5 years and love being at work, that's one thing, yeah. But to run a gym that's got 800 members, classes from 4:30 in the morning, till do you know what I mean? We're like running like 12 classes a day plus. I had a really good conversation with a really good friend of mine who runs a gym back home. We used to run gyms together back home, and he said, "Oh, I'm coming over to Melbourne. What class can I do?" And I know how his gym runs, and I said, "Look, we've got 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 in the morning, and boxing, and then we've got 4:30, 5:30, 6:30 at night, and boxing, and a lunchtime." He's like, "Yeah, but you're not getting people to all those classes." I was like, "Mate, they're full with a wait list." Do you know what I mean? Like most of them are full with a wait list. I was like, "It's 30 people in each." He's like, "That's
insane."
But the reason we're at this point and what we're all, what we're talking about now is the culture and how we've got here is by not only having a vision for how the gym runs, but having a vision for our staff. We're really big on making sure that, one, our staff are okay every day. They're doing the things they love to be doing. And number two, which is really big for us, is growth, yeah? So we always spend time with our staff about growth. And I'm telling you, from a person that has worked every job in the fitness industry, that doesn't happen.
Or in any business. Like,
Yeah.
how many times does a person come to you if you're working for someone, or any of your leaders come to you and say, "Oh, like we're looking for this for you for growth," or "This is their next step for you"?
Yeah.
Never. It's literally, you get into a job and you're probably looking for another job to make that. But we're here, do you know what I mean, over 6.5 years, bar the coaches and staff we've got right now, we've only had 6 other coaches ever worked here, ever. Like, for me, that just is a true indication of, I guess, what we do for, do you know what I mean, our staff and our coaches. And because you see so many other people or other businesses, fitness especially, it's just fly out. It's literally like looking for another coach. And there's something that we pride ourselves on, is creating that culture where people want to be here. People are here when there's bloody days off.
Yep.
And it is a really hard thing, because a lot of business owners, leaders come to me and we'll always chat about how, do you know what I mean, our team, they're always here. We're always doing stuff together. We're always like, how do you get that? They look like they're having so much fun. They look like they're not even working. And I go, well, why can't work be like that? Why can't work be in an environment that people actually like being here?
And it's productive. And we get a lot done.
It's the reason why exactly right.
Correct.
It's the reason why the growth has happened, because people like being here.
Exactly.
People will spend whatever time needed to do whatever's needed, where it's not about, do you know what I mean, oh, okay, let's buy the team lunch and let's go out for lunch because they have to come. Do you know what I mean? We like it's, and we'll talk about this later on, how it's evolved towards a family now. But like we do stuff together. And it's not forced. People are just like, we'll just like, we spent the last 2 New Year's Eve, like people come over for lunch. Like it's funny how when you give, you get.
I agree. And I think, I think that's one of the biggest, I know it's one of the biggest things for me, because I've come from a place, obviously I've moved from home. I didn't have many friends here, or any friends when I first moved here, family. It was super hard for me. So now I'm in this family environment, this culture that's so strong, and I've got all these friends that are my colleagues and friends from the gym. But I think, we talk about it all the time when we, we're always looking at like what other gyms are doing. It's obvious to us in the area what people are doing or what they're up to. I mean, like any business would do that. That we're constantly seeing, like if we're on Seek and we see constantly seeing ads for other gyms for staff. It's a constant thing. It's literally, I will see the same gym within 6 months try and hire 5 staff.
Yeah.
And the reason that's happening is because of exactly what we've just said. You go to that environment, no one is talking about growth, no one is investing in you, and no one is giving you, they're just not giving you enough work to be involved in the business. Do you know what I mean? They're not giving you enough to be like, I'm part of this movement. I'm part of this organization. It's sort of just like you're there and you're making money for them. They don't care. And because of that, like we talk about all the time as well, that culture of us looking after the staff, looking after their growth, maintaining that, you know, they're moving forward in their life. Not only do they stay with us and we create that employee that's like, you know what, man, I love being here and I love what these people do for me and my career, but that in turn creates a coach that loves doing what they do, and the members feed off that. They're like, this guy loves being at work, you know, and I love being here because of that. You go to all these gyms and you can tell these trainers are tuned out. They're doing classes for their $35 and they're out.
Exactly.
Going to another job.
Yeah, they're going to another job. And I guess that's the fitness industry of being, do you know what I mean? And it's a bit different with other businesses, but you've got to work here, then you've got to go to another gym and work another shift or another 4 classes, and then go to another one, and you're working at 3 different ones. Like it literally 90% of the industry would be like that, where we are like,
I've been like that.
Yeah. And the same with me.
Yeah.
And it's about here. It's about you're all in. You're literally here full time, and you're running a business, either PT on the side, or working here as full time. Like we have got six personal trainers here that run their own business. We have from the start hired someone to look after them, to make sure they have the resources and making sure they are comfortable and earning the right money they want to earn. Getting them clients has nothing to do with making us money, not one bit of it. Yet we put the time and energy. It's one thing you've always said, do you know what I mean, blows your way, is that how we would invest so much just to make others make money.
Yeah, I think it's funny, because when we have interviews with people who are PTing elsewhere and they've PT'd somewhere else, and we explain to them, you know, look, you know, we've got, you know, a PT manager here that will literally make sure you're getting leads and make sure you're busy and full. And they go, what do you mean? You know, they just don't realise it. They just don't understand. And they also, from that perspective, don't understand as well that's you and Nikki investing money into a person's hours here to help someone else get money. Like it's completely just to make sure that they're okay and to make sure that they're busy and happy. And that happiness, as you said, it just comes right back around.
Yeah.
And it's do you know what I mean? Like, even though you guys are spending that money, it just comes straight back to us. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got, I mean, everyone that comes here, they'll see how happy our PTs are. And not only that, how busy they are. They become busy so fast because, and that's not on us, that's on them. But it's like we do have someone on their case and making sure they're moving forward, which as I said, when I first moved here, I found that incredible that we'd even do that. But it works as well. It really works. And, you know,
but for the fitness industry,
it would never happen.
It's never happens. Never. Like, I mean, we spoke about it before, but like I used to work in a PT in a pretty big facility, or like, I mean, big around here, and I mean, we would have 5 PTs, and we'd all be sort of looking at like the next person coming through the door, or that could be my client. Do you know what I mean? And I've got to get them to put food on the table.
Yeah.
It's literally like it's me or you. We're here, and it's about flipping the script of. It's not about you versus me. It's about a team, and it's about the Performance Club name. Come from the reason why we use club is because we want it to be like a sporting club. So we bring it back to that. It's funny, but the club atmosphere of having someone and having a whole team around you that, do you know what I mean? I'm going away for 2 months. Can you take my clients on? That would never happen anywhere else, because people would be scared that they would stay with them and that they're taking their money.
Never.
Like it's. And I don't want to be too much about the fitness industry here, but it's about utilizing a whole team and getting a whole team to buy into one purpose. That one purpose being, what is the leader? What do they stand for? What are their standards of their business, and what is the brand that they are working for? When people come to work every day, now this facility and this organization has become a destination facility. This is a Google, this is a Netflix, and it's exactly what I want it to be. And this is why we invest so much into it, is that we want this place to be one of like the best facility in Australia. And the product we have is, but now bringing that to a team culture and being able to build on that, it's right there, because we get messages all the time about, do you have spaces to work? Do you mean PT? And we are so careful now of who we hire to bring into our business and our team culture, because no longer and I've done the wrong thing before in terms of just hiring because I needed to, and because I had to, and I've hired the wrong people to run classes and that because I had no one else. And I thought for a long period of time, and Nikki and I you can ask her, I had so many conversations where like she'd be like, just go get someone else. Like that is not a standard of our coach and that sort of stuff. And I'd be like, but there's no one else out there. And I was like that for so long until we moved facility here and I found the team we have right now, that it actually opened my eyes to how bad of a standard we had before. And it is the sole reason why this business has grown the way it has and so quickly over the last 2 years. Do you know what I mean? The growth from starting TPC to then moving to TPC 2 to then 3 has solely been around our team culture and the buy-in we have and the standard that our coaches have, not only as a coach, but as a person. And that's why when we hire now, like, I mean, I heard this saying on a podcast, hire slow, fire fast. And it really stuck with me. I think I was on a run and I was like, that's so true. When you hire someone, don't just hire because what's in front of them in terms of their paper and how good they are and how good the coaches are. How are they going to fit into our team? And we've got multiple, do you know what I mean, stories of, people we've hired who have fit the team culture as the first thing. Do you know what I mean? Yes, they are amazing what they do. And do you know what I mean? There's been times where we were going to hire, and again, I was going to hire too fast. And do you know what I mean? Even if there's probably a perfect example of, do you know what I mean? I wanted a full-time videographer. I wanted to lift our brand up and build our social media platform to a next level and to be able to build these other projects we've got going. And I was putting our pressure on our brand manager, Trent, to hire someone. And we had these two people and we were going to hire them. One of them, and then that fell through. But I was pushing so hard to hire this person who was a substandard in terms of what we have right now. Like so far, so it's not even funny. But I wanted it now, and I wanted someone to do a job for us. Yet they would not have fit into our team culture. And I remember there was one person who shot something for us, and Trent was like, "Oh, this guy he'll be good. He'll be perfect. I'll teach him this. We can get him to fit into our team culture." And I said, "Trent, it's not how it works." I said, "I don't need someone behind a camera. I need a person. I need a personality. I need someone who's going to bring something to this team." And I remember finding Craig on Instagram. I searched videographers up in Melbourne, found him. He was in Bali at the time. He had blue hair, massive unit. Loved the gym, saw some of his videos. I'm like, oh, this is epic. Called him up, said, "Hey, mate," spoke to him, and straight away I got off the phone and I rang Nikki and I messaged Trent and I said, "I think I found someone for our gig. He's going to come in tomorrow and meet." This guy was doing freelance, running his own hours, his own ship, doing whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, So, do you know what I mean? And very, very comfortable, Didn't need a job, And I spoke to him about our vision, our culture, our team, and what I wanted. And I met with him straight away, and just on the phone, and then meeting him in person, I was like, I got to have this guy. And it's not, yes, he's the best at what he does that I've ever seen in my life, but
unbelievable.
But as a person, and we have hired our whole team now on people, and as a person, couldn't meet a better person. And it is the sole reason why, our team has grown the way they are. And we could have easily made a really silly decision in hiring someone who was just a good fit for a job. But nowadays, it's not about hiring that. It's about hiring because of what they can bring to the team, as a whole 360 approach.
Yeah.
I agree. Do you know what I mean? And that's
thank God for Craigie.
And I guess that brings us, do you know what I mean, onto the hiring of people. And a big thing we've got now is having that feedback loop of having honest conversations with each other it's not personal, it's to make the business better and to make you better. And I think in the past, you can't grow if you can't have those conversations in regards to this needs to get better, or this is done well, you need to do this better. Yet now, it doesn't matter who it is. If it's me or you, if it's from the leaders down, we have such a high standard that if a standard is not met, we talk about it in an honest feedback loop.
Loop, yeah.
Of like, we need to get better because we are always looking to get better.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, and the word that probably everyone keeps hearing repeated is standard, and that's a huge thing for us. From the top down, we're really big on setting standards. I think that's a huge thing for me and Dill that we think about every day, and I think Dill has drilled that into me. Sort of, probably the biggest thing I've learned since moving to TPC is holding my own standard and living up to that standard. And like Dill saw the potential of my standard, I guess, and saw that I was, not only a good person, but I had, very high standards with morally and my values and how I trained. But it's about not just doing that 90% of the time, it's about doing that 100% of the time. So making sure, and it's just the little things. It's about, never being late, never it's just simple stuff. Always being, always using your manners. It's the stuff that we never, you shouldn't really think about, but it's big for us. And in terms of the business, it's about, setting our standard by doing 5 sessions a week here and training our asses off. When we do an event, we commit to it and we turn up. These standards create that, that environment where people are like, that person's a leader, and I trust him with what he's telling me. And I think that's a big thing for me and our staff, is that I know that they trust that I'm coming from a great place, and also that I'm not just telling them to live up to a standard. I am the standard.
Yeah.
So it's easy to tell someone something, and a lot of businesses would be like this. The leader's telling them to do one thing and behaving a completely different way. But it's so big for us that we lead by example. And I think honest conversations is a huge one. And I think it honestly comes down to what I've learned with our staff is the honest conversations become very easier when the person is, very open and mature about their growth and about where they're at.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to have an honest conversation with someone when they're a little bit immature and they don't really understand, either the business or where they're at in life. I think our staff, we're so lucky. I mean, I know we have hard conversations with each other, and honest being hard, yeah? Honest being honest to the point and sometimes very difficult. But we always walk away with those conversations. Like, I always say to it, like Jake and you, it's like, yeah, we might say some stuff in the gym that, we could take very personally, in the conversation and in the meeting, but we leave that meeting, we go, oh, let's go for a train, or, let's go have a feed. It's never taken outside of the context. Dill's having a conversation with me and being hard on me as the gym manager, not as Dan.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people sort of skew it in a business. They're like, oh, nah, Dill's coming at Dan. No. Dill's coming at the gym manager, his business.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the conversations become very important, where we've taught the staff that will only ever be hard on them when the standard's shit. And it has to be like that, because then when do you grow? Yeah. Like, if someone's not telling you, and I always say to the staff, if someone you trust is not telling you what you're doing wrong, who's going to?
Yeah.
Who's going to tell you?
You think you're doing a perfect job.
No one's going to tell you.
Yeah.
So I think the staff now know that we love them and we trust them with everything we have. And then also it's reciprocated. So
it's also our actions and our words. Do you know what I mean? They know what we say we do.
Correct.
So, do you know what I mean? And that's a big thing that I think businesses struggle with, is being able to say something and then do it.
Yeah.
I think getting to know your employees, your staff, your coaches is huge. Do you know what I mean? We've had, and we continue to have, do you know what I mean, sit downs, one-on-ones, or do you know what I mean, both of us with all our staff to make sure, one, we know the direction they want to go in life, because this is a career that we want them to stay in for a long time, and that's with us. And we want to have a chain of growth within our organisation, that where they are right now is not where they are next year, and that they are always moving forward. They're not needing to find the next job. Do you know what I mean? Because one, we never want to lose someone that we've got right now, because obviously they're to value to us. Two, do you know what I mean? Then we've got to teach someone, how do you know? Do you know what I mean? You've got to find someone that's as good as them. It's nearly impossible, do you know what I mean, to replicate. So we need to give avenues and give progress and growth within our organisation. And it might not even be in TPC. It might be with other projects we've got. And again, very rarely is it seen. And for all business owners and leaders out there, speak to your employees, speak to your staff, and get to know them, what they want in life is. And this is a big thing that, I mean, Nikki and I have, and yourself have spoken about. What is driving someone? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it do you know what I mean, time? Is it all these different things? What is it? Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of the time I can think, it's money. Do you know what I mean? It's that they would want more money in the future. But half the time, it's not that. I mean? It's not that. No. Do you know what I mean? And half the time, people will take less money if they enjoy being where they want to work or they enjoy working. We had a conversation about, I mean, one of our employees about how they were speaking to one of their friends and how their friend was like, do you know what I mean? I said at a desk job, like, what, do you know what I mean? You should love, like you love what you do. You love, and I hate what I do. I sit here and this is what I got to do. Do you know what I mean? To make a living where all of us get to come in and enjoy our workspace, which is half the thing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Plus, do you know what I mean? All the other things that we try to do or we do to make sure that, do you know what I mean? We're having days off here and there, and we'll go and do an activity, a team activity. We'll go on and have a day off, a mental sort of health day, I'd say, where we go on a boat and we'll have some fun, have some laughs. We go away. Do you know what I mean? Like, the last 2 years we've gone, our Christmas trip was been Sydney and this year was Bali, where we took, do you know what I mean, the whole team away. And that's a huge investment for our business as a family business, who is a business that is not profit orientated, and is all about community and connection, where we would give, do you know what I mean, 16 of our staff a trip away to Bali, everything included. But the thing that you can't replicate is the bonding and the experience that we got from that week. You can't. There's no money to. You can't.
And I think the thing is as well was that. I mean, like when you're doing these sorts of things, you've got to remember in your lifetime. We talked about this and we read this in a book as well. Was that, you know, how much time you spend with the people at work in your life is wild. Yeah, it's literally more than you spend with your partner. Yeah, you're spending 8 hours a day with the people at work every day. So they need to be family, and you need to be able to trust them, and you need to be able to get on with them. And it is sad, and we hear it a lot because we obviously have a big sort of pool of the community here about how people don't enjoy their jobs or where they're working, and obviously that's partly to do with the culture at work. Sometimes it's to do with what they're doing. They're not happy, and we hear that a lot of what they're doing. But it's a lot of the time it's the culture. And I think going back on what you said as well, one of the incredible things about working here is we always hire within. Yeah, like if we have a new task or a new job or something which we're looking at doing, we always look at the staff that we have already, because we want to make them, we want to help them grow, but we also want to give them opportunity. And a lot of the times it's like, well, why would we outsource this when we can sort of, we know the person. Yeah, they might know the role, or they might not have the skills yet to really nail that job, but we trust that they will be the person for that job based on who they are. And I know, and we always talk about this as well. It's like when we first started hiring trainers, I said to you, I was like, mate, I can teach anyone how to be a good PT. I can teach anyone how to be a good coach, and so can you. I cannot teach someone how to be a good person. Yeah. I can't teach someone to say hello every day with a smile on their face. I can't teach someone to be fun. I can't teach someone to, just be a great person, have great values, have great morals, train hard. You can't teach people that. No. So that's why, obviously, when we hire now, and we've talked about this, we hire the person first is a big thing. But now that we've grown into this organisation and this, we've got so many projects and things going on, we have to sort of hire for the role and for how good they are at their role at the same time. So we've kind of moved on and evolved in that way, whereas we sort of were like, okay, we'll just hire for the person. Now we're in a position, we're in a position where we can go, okay, now we need someone who's going to bring something to the business as well. Yeah. It's a great place to be at.
Well, the thing was, like previously, do you know what I mean? Because the standard wasn't where I wanted it to be, I was at home, if I wasn't running a class, I was dreading the member experience, the feedback I would get from that. Wouldn't know if the coaches were going to show, be late. Like it was honestly... It was horrendous, and it made me like I'll put my and we'll go through this in another podcast in regards to the last sort of 2 years and how we've grown through COVID and that. But the experience of owning a business through that period of time when the team culture was not where it should have been, and the buy-in and the attitude and behaviors weren't of what you'd expect from a normal person working in a business, made me hated owning a business, made me hated working in my business. I hated it. I hated coming to my own gym, which is the most it's the saddest thing because it's my baby. It's what Nikki and I have put all our energy into. And when you get disrespected in different ways that you don't even know the standard that's going to be put out there. But then I think, like, I always look at myself and I think, I mean, okay, that happened, but what could have I done? Well, I should have known that the standard should have changed straight away then, and we should have got new people in. Yet I was so thinking that, and talking to Nikki and stuff like that, like, oh, do you know what I mean? There's no one else out there. There's no one else around this area that can come and fill it and run a class, and I can't run all the classes. And since then, getting all this new staff and getting the standards so well above, and the growth that's happened within our business has allowed me to step away more and work on other projects, have a whole leadership team now, run by yourself, that I don't need to worry. I could go on holiday, I could be at home. I never have to worry about the standard that's being delivered at my facility from the second someone walks into the facility, from the front of house, to the way someone's spoken to on the phone, to the way someone's emailed. I used to do all of this. Now I don't have to worry about one thing in terms of that. I get to worry about what I like doing, which is running classes and building that connection through other events, building other projects that we are on, doing at the moment, and doing things like, spending my time and giving my time for the Holler Foundation, and doing, something that I'm not getting anything back for except for giving. And this is what's come from having a good team culture. And what I would say is, if you're a leader out there, get to know your employee, get to know your staff, and understand that once you get to know your staff, hopefully you've hired the right staff and good people with good behaviors, good attitudes. If they fit your culture, get to know them and understand what drives them, understand where they want to go in life. If someone's a receptionist at your real estate agent or wherever, probably 5 years, 2 years, 1 year down the track, they don't want to be that. So talk to them about how they can get there. It might not even be in your business, but if you can show that you can help someone get to where they want to get to, they will be so much more involved and invested in terms of your business, which then creates a better member experience, and creates a better business, a better organization that you don't have to worry about. So spend more time getting to know your employees, your people, and see why and where they want to go. For me, it's about finding those avenues where we can make sure that we keep our staff for another 10 years. And unfortunately, you hear a lot of these things that, people are going to be only in your organization for 2 years and stuff like that. But I've seen the benefits of having very, very, very limited people come through my organization, and it's benefited our members.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that we've had exponential growth. Yeah, I mean, to everyone in the community, I mean, surely it's pretty obvious. Like, we've gone from, 500 members to over 800 members, gone from 6 staff to over 16 staff, and it's all stemmed from hiring right, getting to know our employees, and spending a lot of time on standards and culture. I think that's the three main things that as you're saying, as a business owner, you need to get on top of for your growth. And like, I know, talking to our staff, and Dill's not even part of these conversations a lot of the time, is that they're extremely satisfied with working here. And not only that, they see growth in their life. And as you said, we talk a lot about it not being here, which is, no businesses do that. And also, they do see their 5-year plan. Like, I know, for like, me and Jake have talked about being here for the next 5, 6, 10 years. Do you know what I mean? I don't like, we don't, when you see potential in a business and you believe in the people running it, and not only that, they talk to you about your growth not only as an employee, but as a human. And every year you are growing. Like, every year since, we've been here, we've all grown exponentially. Like, I even look at some of the staff now and I'm like, my God, like, what we you 6 months ago was like, every 6 months, like, people will know this. Like, there's coaches here that I'm extremely proud of everyone, but there's coaches some days I look at and I'm like, oh my God, man, like, you have just gone unbelievably well since you've been here. But I think in the whole sense of the business. And one of the great things, and one of the things we talked about when we first hired, and you just touched on it, was I don't want Dill to have to micromanage me in this business. I don't want him coming to me and being like, hey man, did your coach turn up? Or hey, did this happen? Hey, is this all good? I want him to be able to go away with Nick and the kids and have a holiday and not have to ring me, other than like, is everything all good? How you going? Like, because that's the ultimate for a manager of this gym. And that was the goal of me when I first started, I said, Dill, I don't want you having to worry about anything here. And, over the last sort of 6-8 months, like, man, like there's not a worry here, because though, and it's not happened by accident, as we said, this is a daily thing. Standards are daily. These conversations are daily. Everything happens when it needs to happen. It's not just sort of like, and it's not planned. It's just like we see the sort of what's happening and what's building, and then we make an action and we get it done. And we talk about these things every day.
It's funny you touch on that, because as a business owner, the most valuable thing is getting back time. And you touch on it if I can go on holidays and not have to ring you, like I literally don't have to worry one single bit. Don't even have to speak to you. I could be in the bloody safari desert. This place would just run exactly the same.
Snakes though.
And I don't do snakes. And it stems from the leadership of yourself going down and the standards. We always talk about standards, and that's one of the biggest things. And I think one of the other things is, and you hear about it in podcasts and books and that, when you're building a team culture, that don't get too close to your employees and all this sort of stuff. And I've heard it before and stuff like that. And the culture is created from having a close-knit team, and that resembles a family. And to me, having dealt with huge dishonest in terms of my past people who have worked for me, it's been incredibly hard to, for probably more so Nikki as another business owner and my wife, in terms of being able to trust a new group of now staff and employees who have now been here for 2 years. But from the start, it was very difficult for her to open her heart up again because of the hurt caused by and the dishonest and behaviours and attitude. And we talk about hiring good people now, and that's the reason why. And being able to have a group of people who you treat like family and still give, because nothing has changed from the way we own a business, the way we show our appreciation to you. Yet the amazing respect and buy-in and the growth that we've had in terms of our business because of the people who we have in our organisation now. I said to Nikki, you can't let past things that you can't control. You can't control how people treat you. And that's one of the biggest things that I've always learnt from my past experience. You can't control it, but what you can do is just keep being yourself. And the more and more people who get to know you, understand who you are and what you're about, you don't need to worry about how you treat people. Just treat them exactly how you always treat them. And everyone understands that's how that person is.
Yeah, I think it was to be honest, it was hard to see Nikki the way she was when everything sort of went down and things weren't going so good at the old gym. But I also see how hard you guys obviously work behind the scenes, which a lot of people don't know. How many hours go into our staff, how much money goes in, how much stress there was with the moving gyms, and we'll talk about it in another episode. But I think it's really hard to you can't change who you are. It's never going to happen, right? My mum always used to tell me that, like no matter how people treat you, you're not going to change who you are. No matter how many people let you down, you're still going to let them in. So, and I know you guys are exactly the same. You're the same as me. You let them in, and until someone hurts you, you have to treat them the same way that you always would. And when they hurt you and something goes, then you make a decision at that point. But, man, the love and respect and trust that you and Nikki have for all the staff, I mean, it goes both ways, but it's pretty unbelievable now. And it's not nice seeing people go through a rough time with their business, especially during COVID. Yeah, it's awful. Like, especially from a place where I don't have. Do you know what I mean? I don't have any liabilities at all. I'm just here for the ride. So it was very tough. But now, as I said, we're on the other side of that, and it's man, I can't wait to do this podcast in a year's time and talk about the growth we've had since. Do you know what I mean? It's and with our family and with the people we have now. And as you said, it is a family here, and everyone who comes here knows that.
Yeah, it is, and that's the reason why everyone loves coming to work. And do you know what I mean, literally every single one of our staff coaches, it wouldn't matter what time they rang me, what they needed, and we've had this conversation before. Whatever they need, just tell me. And because do you know what I mean, you're like a brother to me, and do you know what I mean, that's the way I treat all of our staff and that. So I guess that's one of the things though, you need to understand your employees, get to know them, and once you do know them, understand where they want to go. And then you can build a team culture like no other. And being a destination facility is something that I think all businesses should strive to. And you need to invest though. You need to invest back. You can't just keep taking. You need to give. Like, do you know what I mean? We've gone past through COVID, and do you know what I mean, we will take, I mean, probably another 2 years to get back on our feet in terms of financially, and we'll go through this in another podcast. But I mean, we're $300,000 down the drain of what setting up this cost, paying out the lease of the other. Like, people don't understand that, because from an inside or an outside point of view, people just think, oh, they've got a lot of members and they've been going well and this and that, but they don't understand actually what goes in, what's going in the bank account, what's going out, and they don't understand what's going on. So it'll be very interesting for us to tell our story in another podcast. Probably, I think we've got it lined up for about 3 weeks' time, in terms of how much we've had to go through to get to where we are right now, to get to the other side of COVID and get to the other side of getting out of that facility, getting the facility, all of it. But you got to keep striving towards having the best of your vision. And my vision is to have a facility like no other, a business like no other, an organization like no other, and a team culture that cannot be matched with any other business, and that people just are like looking and going, how the hell are they having people come and work like that for them to make them more money, to bring a stand like that? Forget about being a gym, but any business, because all businesses are exactly the same. You've got to work for either a service or you're trying to sell a product. People are going to work because they want to get paid. That's solely the reason. Yeah, they're getting paid. I have a responsibility to make sure that our business goes well, so we can pay my family, which is 16 people. Yeah, we have to make sure that we can grow these people inside our organization, so we need to create more money.
Yep.
So it's a business. You need to look within. You need to look at your employees. You need to understand what you want and what is your vision of team culture. Is it that you want people to have a 4-day week? If it's people, you want to give them this or that, or if you want to give everyone a pay rise, whatever it is, or if you want to buy in like no other, you've got to understand that you've got to dig deeper as a leader, and you've got to set the standard, because the standard that you hold as a business owner, as a leader, people will follow. If our standard was shit, yeah, the standard here would be shit, and everyone would not care about anyone. Yeah, but because we care about them, they care about us, and they care about our business. And do you know what I mean? It's I mean, the reason why I guess this organization is going, I mean, so well, and we continue to grow. So
I mean, it's exciting, man. I think, even just talking about all this stuff, and it makes you think a lot about the past. It makes you think a lot about the people you've got in your system now, like all the staff we have right now. I'm just sitting here over my head thinking about all the growth, not only they've had, but they're about to have.
I know.
It's exciting stuff, man. And
we didn't even have an office at the old warehouse.
Nah.
Here haven't got enough offices.
No, I know. It's crazy.
It's
mental. But it's also, we could, obviously, for the staff listening, you can't thank the staff enough.
Oh.
They work so hard here. We look after them, but they work their asses off, and they do everything here to such a high standard. And they really they care about our members. They care about our family. There's care within. For you guys listening, I'm so proud of everything you guys have done. And I honestly, if all the things that we have coming up and all the ideas projects we've got going on, I can't wait for you guys to be a part of, and for everyone to see that, this place is just going to keep growing.
That's exactly right. Well, thank you for tuning in. We've got a few more really good episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks. We've got Tristan coming on from Buxton Real Estate. He's going to talk about his story and his journey in terms of real estate, and talk to us about real estate. So something totally different in terms of business. and real estate. So really looking forward to getting on
Nice.
some more guest speakers, and also letting you in on how our running of the Sydney to Melbourne is going. It is grueling, and we are getting there, ticking it off slowly, except for yesterday when I had to stop after 3K. But we look forward to tuning in next week. So hope we all go well and enjoy another great week.
See you soon.